Welcome back to Autism Live. We are welcoming for the first time on the show, well, sort of the first time on the show. We did a brief interview with her when we saw her at the We Rock the Spectrum Resource Fair and just loved her. It's Kerry Mellin is here with us, and she is from Eazyhold. She is the founder and co-owner. And thank you so much for taking the time and coming in and being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And this has, so I'm going to take it off so that people can see. I've even got I'm season appropriate. I have my pumpkin pencil. So this is what Eazyhold is. This comes in many different sizes and colors.
Yes, it does.
And it looks deceptively simple. But this, for some people, is the key. These are the keys to the kingdom. So first of all, let's talk about why you invented this. And then we'll show you all the things it does and show you why you should be so excited. But you didn't invent this for kids on the spectrum.
I did not. I've been a hard-working gal my whole life. I've been a costume designer and builder for 35 years in the motion picture industry.
Cool.
Working with my hands on a daily basis. And besides that, I've been a cowgirl my whole life, working on ranches, my own ranch, and with my own horses. So at work, I'm using my hands to build. At home, I'm using, tools and building fences. And so at about, I would say 2014, about 5 years ago, I went out to grab my own broom to sweep out my barn for a family party. And because of the arthritis in my thumbs, I couldn't even hold on to the broom long enough to use it. Really painful, cramping. My family was due to come in an hour. So I took some duct tape and taped my hand to the broom. And as I'm sweeping, I'm thinking, wow, this is great. I don't have to grip at all.
Yeah.
I'm holding the broom, I'm controlling it, I finished the job. And it made me think about when I was deciding which career path to take. A university professor gave me one of those tests that tell you where you'd be good, an occupational test, and it came up with two things, which surprised me. One, of course, was film and television, which I was already interested in, especially with costumes, and the other was occupational therapy, which I didn't know anything about, really. So I decided to pursue both of them. I had a friend in the film industry. I started building costumes for her, and then I volunteered at Northridge Hospital for a year and a half in the spinal cord injury wing.
Wow.
So while I was in the hospital, I was assisting the OTs to help people relearn how to eat and sculpt clay and drink and all the things you need to do.
Yeah.
And at the time, they had some homemade cuffs. They had cuffs that they would make out of elastic, rubber bands and some Velcro, tape even. And I wondered why they were using these things, popsicle sticks. And they said because the cuffs that we can get, which I brought an assortment of, get wet and dirty, and we can't really use them over again. If you're painting or eating with this, in a minute it's dirty and wet, and it spreads germs. So these are the kind of cuffs they used at the time. So when I injured my thumb and I was thinking to myself, I'm sure there must be advances since 35 years ago.
Right.
And so I went on the internet and saw that there was nothing. Nothing had been invented that was better than this. So when my sisters were over at that party later, we talked about what we do often. They're also over 60, and we talk about starting a business. And I said, I actually had to tape my hand to the broom. I think we need some resources for the baby boomers. Yeah, so we decided that next day to develop this product, and we went out and sourced silicone. We knew it needed to be soft and hygienic and clean. And it turns out that this is the only cuff that is being approved for use in schools, therapy centers, and hospitals, because it's the only cuff that can be sanitized.
Very cool. And so show some of the assortment. Basically, if you stop and think about it, you guys, we talk all the time about skill deficits and how some of our kids have fine motor and gross motor deficits at a very early age, and we're going to work on them, right?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, they miss out on a lot of other milestones because that's a core, foundational skill that they need to have. So it might be that someone could trace something if they were able to grip the pencil, but they can't grip the pencil, which means now their thoughts can't go on the paper, which now they're left behind. All the other things that are happening in the classroom. And if you could just solve that portion of the problem, then you could still be working on that, and work on other things in the mix,
Yes,
which
exactly.
is super cool.
Yes, this is definitely a pathway towards exploration for a child, because a child with autism often their attention is poor and they may have a grasp, but it's not a reliable grasp,
Right.
and they'll be dropping or throwing. If you can start a child early, and I know I was listening to you earlier about early intervention,
Yeah.
if you can start a child early holding something like this,
Yeah.
then it's less of a sensory processing issue. If you can, because in a way it's kind of like a watch band. People, you know, when
Yeah.
you say, I don't want to strap something to my hand, but we do it all the time.
Yeah.
We put a watch band on, we'll put necklaces on, we carry a purse, there's lots of tools with handles.
Yes.
So it's just kind of a handle, and then for a child it's colorful and soft so that
Yes.
it is easier.
It is super soft, you guys.
Yeah, so
show us how you put it on something.
Okay, so it has 2 holes in either end, and it comes in 8 different sizes. You slip it on one end, slip it over the other end, and depending on the size of the child, you can kind of choke it up or down to be a little tighter,
Right?
or squish it down and it's a little looser. And it doesn't have to be tight at all. So for instance, there's lots of play, but it still stays in my hand.
Yeah, because the silicone kind of grips.
Yes,
But
so-
there's lots of room to move your fingers around, but it doesn't fall off.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm here, and I've
Yeah.
got all that room.
Yeah, exactly. And unlike other cuffs, which have to be super, super tight
Yeah.
for them to work, these can be kind of loose. And also a really wonderful thing about them is, if you can see the cuffs that are on the market right now, this cuff actually needs to be strapped on, and the tool goes into the cuff, but it's not against your hand.
Right.
So you're missing out on a lot of sensory processing.
Yes.
You can't feel the brush on paper. You can't feel the toy or the vibration. I
Yeah.
mean, kids are using it on violin bows. They're using it
Yeah.
on all kinds of instruments. But if you can actually put the tool in your hand, then you can feel the softness of the wood,
Yeah.
you know, the vibration on the instrument. It's a little bit more, there's more sensory processing that goes on.
As a parent, too, I like the fact that, you can help your child to put it on,
Yep.
but if your child wants to take it off, they can.
It's easy to come
And
off.
so, and I do like that aspect to it, where I feel like
Yeah.
you're strapping
Yes.
your kid into something where they don't have
Yes,
choices.
when this
into the
Velcro goes
cuffs.
on, it doesn't come off.
Right.
Yeah, and it's itchy, and it sweats, and everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. Whereas this is just really amazing. So, and you do have them in different sizes. You show us
We
the
do.
bottle and the sippy cup.
So this is a sippy cup and a bottle holder, and for many children, it's a game changer, especially if you're an infant, and for a parent, this is a great tool for parents, because if they have other children, you really cannot be holding a baby and feeding the baby in the morning when you're trying to get your other kids to school.
Yeah.
So this is super helpful. Also comes this same size. Fits onto a sippy cup for an adult or a child. And this same one can go onto a tennis racket or a boat oar or a bicycle pedals or bicycle handlebars. So for anything where a child or an adult needs something for a repetitive, secure grip,
Yeah.
this size will fit on anything.
Amazing. I like the drumsticks, too.
Yeah, the drumsticks are great. We're selling these to a lot of adaptive classrooms for kids that don't necessarily have a grip issue, but they do lose things or
Right.
throw things. So they're super comfortable, and because they're soft, they have a good recoil for musical instruments, and they come in different sizes for the musical instruments. Even children there are some children with cerebral palsy, limb loss, pediatric stroke who haven't held a toy.
Yeah.
So even just holding a superhero,
Yes.
it means a lot to a kid. Or if
Absolutely.
you have a child that has digit loss or finger loss, having them be able to hold a toy, and if they have full function of their right hand, well, they can hold the toy on their limb and still be able to
Yes.
manipulate it, brush their hair, play with it. So this is a really invaluable tool for children with limb loss as well, and
Absolutely.
adults.
And I think, for all of the playthings, super, super cool. But I can think of 3 things right off the bat with autism where it's going to come in super handy for our young kids. the toothbrush
Yep.
is a big one,
Yep.
right? Because we know like the task analysis of working on toothbrushing has so many different things on it, but if you have to work on the grip on the toothbrush, you're sort of
Yes.
dead in the water, right?
Yep.
And you can't get to a lot of the other stuff, and it ends up that the parent is brushing their teeth. This is a great answer for that, so that you don't have to worry about that. And you can make it the super cool thing about let's put the toothbrush on.
Yes.
Like it doesn't have to be a negative, you guys. So that's one. But of course, feeding, which is a huge issue in the autism community, that you know we see that there are some kids, because the fork skills and the spoon skills aren't there. There are food preferences that come into play, and part of it is that they just, it's not reinforcing to them because I can't get the food to my mouth. So super cool for the feeding. And then of course the last one is for writing, because that is something, and you can start with the big fat crayons with this, and you can work up to the pencils and the markers and all of those things. So a really remarkable thing. So now, where do people get them?
Well, you can buy them at our e-commerce website, which is eazyhold.com.
And that's easy. Have we got it, Traven, that you can put up? Eazyhold.com.
Easy with a Z, yeah. And we sell on Amazon also,
Wonderful.
and we have 15 distributors globally.
Fabulous. And we have gone over. The show has actually gone over, and I don't know where the time has gone. It's because I spoke too much. But Kerry, this is really remarkable. We want to encourage people. You can get a whole set of them, or you can buy them in a 2-pack.
Yep.
So whatever you guys choose, but go to I'm sorry. What was the website again?
Eazyhold.com.
Eazyhold.com with a Z. That's what it is. So check it out. Get it for the person in your life, whether it's your kiddo that's on the autism spectrum, or for you, or for your adult
with
parents.
A stroke, ALS, Parkinson's, Huntington's.
Absolutely remarkable. I love when people invent cool things.
Thank you so much.
Very super cool. Thank you.
Nice to be here.
Nice to have you here. Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.